Imagine you're currently scouting for a final resting place while the world evaporates. The digital grid is a charred memory and the horizon is glowing with artificial brilliance. Why did your quiet neighborhood suddenly top the charts as a primary landing strip for Russian heavy-yield warheads? Why did our own defense strategists design it this way? Welcome to Victor's Logic, where we dissect the cold geometry of survival. Picture yourself in a roadside cafe in rural Montana. The coffee is lukewarm and bitter. Your smartphone is trapped in an infinite loop searching for a signal that never returns. Through the window, birds are fleeing at breakneck speeds, heading in the wrong direction. You assumed you were safely tucked away in the middle of nowhere a ghost. You were wrong. You are currently standing on a strategic nuclear sponge. Stay calm. We are charting which American zip codes were designated as human shields, and the ruthless reasoning behind it. You need a DIY geopolitical triage guide. Step 1. Find a map. Forget your phone. You need a physical road atlas, the kind gathering dust in the back of an abandoned sedan. Grab a marker. Or if you have to, a piece of charcoal from a nearby scorched tree. We are outlining counterforce zones. Start by circling the heartland: Montana, North Dakota, Wyoming, and Colorado. These are the sacrificial sponge states. The logic is transparent and cold-blooded. Beneath these peaceful pastures lie 400 Minutemen III silos being upgraded to the Sentinel system. These are static, unmoving targets. Every adversary on the planet has their coordinates. During this transition, these sites are soft, making them irresistible magnets for incoming strikes. Here's the grim math: every enemy warhead that detonates over a silo in the Great Plains is a warhead that isn't leveling Los Angeles or Chicago, or collapsing the bunkers in Northern Virginia where the architects are currently sheltering. These regions aren't being defended, they are soaking up the kinetic fury. Don't just keep an eye on the silos. We look at infrastructure of power. Map out the Ashburn corridor in Virginia. This patch processes the world's data. If that goes dark, we will be using the communication tools of the 1800s. Method 1 for identifying a silo sink is simple. Look for Air Force fences. These areas by the East Coast Command centers an extra 20 minutes of life, just enough time to decide which retaliatory button to press while the Midwest absorbs. Now move your focus to the coastlines. Modern playbooks prioritize the logistics choke. Circle ports like Savannah or Long Beach. These are the lungs of the economy. Look for submarine cable landings in sleepy towns like Florence, Oregon. These are the literal nerve endings. Severing them lobotomizes the nation's financial brain. If the global supply chain is a body, these are the carotid arteries. Keep a sharp eye out for VLF transmitter towers. Those lonely, towering giants. They whisper launch orders to submarines lurking under the polar ice. To an enemy, they are a kill switch that must be flipped. If you are standing near a massive shipping crane, you are on a bullseye. If you are standing near a VLF array, you are standing on a bullseye. You also have to factor in the toxic synergy of the Corn Belt. When a ground burst hits a nitrogen facility, it doesn't just leave a hole. It vaporizes thousands of tons of chemicals, creating a glowing, lethal mist. This makes standard fallout look like a minor irritant. Don't bother packing. The shockwave from an airburst will turn you into a fine, localized vapor long before you can reach for your keys. Let's talk about precision. Modern ICBMs aren't the clumsy rockets of the Cold War. Their circular error probable is terrifyingly tight. Down to about 100 meters, accuracy changes the stakes. If you're within 15 miles of a sponge silo, you aren't playing the odds anymore. You're in the prompt radiation zone, where the concept of distance becomes entirely academic. In this chaos, the atmosphere betrays. Normally, smoke rises. But in a full-scale exchange, thermal inversion takes over. Heat layers trap the debris, and the fallout doesn't blow away at pools. In states like Washington, home to massive naval bases, the radioactive dust settles. You need to understand the difference between beta and gamma. Beta is a surface-level burn. Gamma is a ghost that walks through walls and rewrites your DNA. Position yourself, practically rip a piece of fabric, tie it to a branch to check the wind. If the breeze is west and you're downwind of a major base, you're in the plume's path. The nuclear winter comes later. The immediate threat is the falling ash. Then there is method 2, the Faraday scavenge. If you're near Hill Air Force Base, your car's computer is likely fried by the E1 electromagnetic pulse, of fast surge that devours microchips. To give your gear a fighting chance, bind a galvanized steel bin. Line it with dry cardboard, so no electronics touch the metal. Toss in your radios and walkie-talkies and seal it tight. If that crude shield holds, you might hear a human voice. The takeaway here isn't just survival hacks, it's the acceptable loss ratio. Governments categorize geography. Some spots are sponges, some are high-value prizes. Others, like Maine, are simply low priority. Not enough infrastructure to justify a missile. The ultimate irony is being so strategically irrelevant that the apocalypse forgets you. But if you are in the sponge, the rules are brutal. First, never look at the flash. That pulse moves at light speed. It will burn your retinas before your nervous system can blink. Second, brace for the pressure wave. It's a wall of air, moving faster than sound. If you're in a basement in Wyoming, the structure above you is about to become a very heavy blanket. Here is the reality of the aftermath. Steam doesn't carry heavy isotopes. If you can distill radioactive rain, the water is cleaner than puddles. Strontium-90 attacks the bone while cesium-137 embeds itself in the soil. Do not drink the glow. If a Geiger counter clicks like a frantic woodpecker, the lesson is over. Stay safe in the wasteland. The radio might eventually hiss with a pre-recorded loop from a buried bunker. The Great Plains have been transformed into the Great Glass Plains. You aren't alone out there. Or perhaps you are the only one left who understands why your home had to be the shield for the coast, so the coast could have 20 more minutes of breath. No supplies? No problem. Just use the logic of the situation and the realization that geography is just a polite term for target acquisition. As your old diesel engine rumbles, breathing in the ash of sacrificed states, you've made it this far. Now your only task is to find a place that wasn't on the list provided. There's anything left of the map on Victor's logic.